Chris the Nightmare Real, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So, on two days ago, I came out with a video, Q&A, with some of my subscribers, man. Just have you guys leave me some questions, and I said I will do a response. Said I'll do it the next day, but it took me 2 days. What the hell? All right, so I'm gonna just read them, and I'm gonna just go off the top, man. So, first question from Yannick ND. He asked me, he says, do you think that Alexander Usick has a legit future in the heavyweight division? Well, I came out with the Usyk video, and I come out with my heavyweight prospects. Please check out that prospect playlist, by the way. But when I come out with the prospects, I'll throw some cruiserweights in there that I think that can possibly, compete at heavyweight sooner or later. And Usyk is a guy I did a video about the beginning of the year, like in January. And I said that this dude is going to be at heavyweight. Not so much because of his size, just that, I seen him compete at the World Series of Boxing, and he was fighting super heavyweights, and he won that season. He was beating their ass, man. He beat Matteo Modugno, who's, I think, like 18-0 now as a professional. Junior Fa, he beat him, another guy who I think highly of as a prospect out of New Zealand. 2-2 against Joseph Parker in the amateurs. So, yeah, man, I think Usyk can do it, man. I think the elusiveness, I think just his pedigree, his skills, the in and out movement, he has a great set of legs, man. His movement can give some big guys some problems. I think he's tough. I think he can get it done. I really do, man. But there's, the cruiserweight division is heating up, so there is still more there to prove at cruiserweight. Don't get me wrong, but yes, I do believe Usyk can do it, and I've been saying it since January. So, yeah, I think he can possibly get it done. A fight with him and Povetkin would be great. I've seen somebody leave that in the comments section on another video. They're asking about Povetkin versus Usyk. I think that'd be a damn good fight, man. I think Usyk can pull that one off. I really do. I mean, look at the success that Marco Huck had. And I know that Huck and Usyk are different fighters, but at this stage, I would pick Usyk over Huck. But my opinion on that. All right. Mini Max Boxing says, who's your favorite fighter right now? The current guys, man, it's almost like a 1A, 1B, 1C type of thing. Luis Ortiz is definitely a guy that I definitely like watching right now, man. I really like watching Luis Ortiz. Anthony Joshua is somebody that I really like watching, and Deontay Wilder. Pretty much the whole damn division, really, though, man. But those three, because I just want to see, just what type of mark they're going to leave in this era, So I guess it's more just me wanting to see just what kind of mark they're going to leave on this era, because these three guys are highly talked about. I could have possibly added Joseph Parker in there too, but to me, it's not so much, like favorite, but it's just like those are the guys that I really want to see what they're going to do in this era. Being that, Vladimir was the best heavyweight over the last, 10 years. Well, if you want to, put Vitali in there too, but the Klitschko brothers, so I kind of want to see what's going to happen after that era, So those are the three guys that I'm really paying attention to. Even Tyson Fury too, but he has shit going on with him and he's going to be out for a while. But Ortiz, Wilder, and Joshua, it's like a 1A, 1B, 1C, All right, C Pyro says, who is the most talented heavyweight right now, in your opinion? I'm going to go with Luis Ortiz. Brian Mitchell, he says, do you think Iju Aganu is the most overlooked heavyweight prospect? I see him being the guy who sneaks up and surprises the whole division. Yeah. And I'm almost want to think, man, if it's not for like me, to be honest with you, at least here on YouTube, I'm sure there's probably some other channels, but I haven't really seen them. But as far as talking about Iju, man, me and I don't know who else, what other uploader does, man. So, and to me, like I said, he's a diamond in the rough, man. You know, but he's a Parker. He's a part of that Parker camp. You know, with Kevin Barry and I think he gets overlooked a little bit, man, because of Joseph Parker. I'm not saying it's Parker's fault, you know, but you know, Parker, you know, no disrespect to Parker, man, because he's putting himself in good situations. He beat Dimitrenko. He beat Carlos Takam. You know what I mean? So he's putting himself in good situations. But I do think Issue is a little overlooked, especially by guys who are more boisterous and have things to say, like a Jarrell Miller and Dillian White, those type of guys. But Issue needs to step up and get him a solid fight, like a Marius Walker, Dominic Brazil, or somebody like that, man, to really get him a solid win. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think Issue is probably the most overlooked heavyweight as far as prospects go. Adrian Granat's another one. And with all these guys, I know guys like to tell me all these dudes' flaws. I mean, they all have flaws, man. But Granat and Issue, in my opinion, are probably the two most overlooked. But Issue is definitely up there. Duke Odin 7458 says, do you think Ruiz can give Parker a good fight? Hell yeah. And like I told Ruiz when I interviewed him last week, I told him, man, I think that this fight, as far as their styles, I'm not talking about Ruiz's body shape or what you think of his conditioning, just their styles. It has a fight of the year it's a fight of the year type of fight, in my opinion. I really believe that, based on their styles. And it's going to be for a world title. They're both going to be hungry as hell to win this world title. No pun intended with the hungry as hell thing for Ruiz. But the title's on the line, man. This is these guys' dreams, you know what I mean, to win a world title. So, hell yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. Jake Roberts says, what do you think of the current top 10 compared to other eras? And I'm assuming he's talking about the heavyweights. I think there's some good athletic guys in this top 10. It's just I'm waiting for these motherfuckers to fight each other. And I understand, you know, everybody can't fight each other, right? Like Tyson didn't fight Tua, and we can go on and on. Frazier didn't fight Ken Norton. You know what I mean? But I do believe that once they start fighting each other, we'll get more excitement. But right now, there's some talent there. You know, I don't know where I'll rate these guys as far as compared to other eras, but I want to see these dudes fight, man. You know, I want to see some of these intriguing matchups. Ortiz versus Povetkin. You know what I mean? Wilder versus Parker. Like those type of... we have to see those fights happen. Once those fights happen, then I give you a better answer, man. But right now, shit, I don't really know where it rates as far as comparing them to other eras because these dudes need to fight. And I've taken into consideration everybody can't fight each other, but, you know, I really want to see these dudes fight, though, man. Because like I said, shit, in the 90s, you know, 80s, you know, shit, we didn't get to see prime Witherspoon versus Mike Tyson or, you know what I mean, and Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis as pros, you know. So there's going to be some fights missed, but nothing's really going on with these guys fighting each other right now. So they got to get in the ring, man. St. Cruisin says, do you think... Hold on. My phone got stuck. Hold on, just give me a second. All right, it popped back up. He says, who do you think is the most underrated and overrated heavyweights? Underrated, and this is going to be a surprise to some of you. Underrated, I really think that people are underrating Deontay Wilder. Now, I don't think he's in... You know, man, me speaking about Deontay Wilder is like I can't win because some people think I'm too, you know, I criticize him way too much. Then I'll have some people come in and say I give him way too much props. So it's like, it's up and down, man. But the way I feel about Deontay Wilder, though, man, I really think people underrate him a little bit. They just think if he gets hit on the chin, he's going to fall over and go to sleep. You know what I mean? But then there's some fans that may overrate him. But I think Deontay Wilder is overrated by the majority of heavyweight fans. Non-Americans. I know a lot of Americans, but there's some Americans I converse with that don't think that much of him either, man. But I think on a worldwide scale, I do think that Deontay Wilder is underrated. Overrated? I can't really answer that, man, because Klitschko he was dominating so tough the last 10 years up until last year. Wasn't nobody even being rated, really, you know what I mean, as a top guy. It was pretty much Klitschko in the field. You know what I mean? So overrated, I really don't think nobody's overrated. I think some guys are underrated. You know what I mean? But I think Wilder's the most underrated. But overrated, I really don't see anybody being overrated, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of fans, will probably have a different opinion about it, but I really don't see anybody being overrated at this point. Club fan 30001 says, do you think 2016 was a bad year for boxing, especially the heavyweights? Hell yeah, it was a bad year for boxing. It's a fucked up year, man, especially for the heavyweights. Drug test issues, cancellations, fights being talked about, and articles coming out, and me and other uploaders doing videos about these fights. They never got signed. Now it's to the point, man, I'm not going to get excited until I hear the damn bell rings and both these guys are coming out in the center of the ring to fight each other on fight night. I don't give a damn if the fight is signed. I don't give a damn if they have a press conference for it, a promo video. I'm not going to be excited until guys get in the ring. So yeah, well, to me, it was a bad year. W Blake 22 says, who wins between a prime Mike Tyson and Sonny Liston? That's a tough one, man. Both these guys had a lot of similarities. Intimidate, they like to intimidate their opponents. Hard right hands. Mike Tyson's speed and quickness coming forward, not the speed and quickness, moving and fighting on the move. Floyd Patterson was probably the closest thing that Liston fought that was similar to a Tyson. Customato was in his corner. Floyd Patterson, one of the original guys of the peekaboo style. Tyson have a tough time getting past that jab, man. That was a big jab that Sonny Liston had. It wasn't just a jab. It was like a fucking power punch. Man. I'm going to go with Mike Tyson. Prime for prime at their best. I'm going to go with Iron Mike, man. I'm going to go with Iron Mike. Ray Sean Hudson says, who do you think will win out of Wilder versus Klitschko right now? Right now, today, I'm going to go with Wilder. And I'm being consistent. I've said right now, today, Klitschko, in my opinion, he's had one of the great runs of all time. Rivals the likes of Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes. But right now, I think he's on a decline, in my opinion. And I said that after the Brian Jennings fight. But I also said that three guys that I think that have beat him right now is Ortiz, Joshua, and Wilder. So I'm going to stay consistent, man. And also said rematches against Haye and Povetkin would probably be interesting. Probably be interesting at this point. But Lee Frazier, he says, do you see anyone in the super middleweight, light heavyweight divisions with the potential to move up to heavyweight and make some noise? I don't know, man. I heard Andre Ward say that he would want to go to heavyweight. He said this a while ago. I actually did a video about it. I've actually heard Shannon Briggs give his opinion about Kovalev, and he thinks Kovalev can one day move up. You know what I mean? And I really don't know, man. Maybe, I guess I want to see what happens out of Ward and Kovalev. Funny that they're about to fight each other, too. But Ward and Kovalev, probably the winner out of that one. I like this, maybe one of those guys can move up. Kovalev's style is more geared towards hurting you. So he's like an aggressive guy. He'll be an aggressive guy moving up. So I'm not sure. His punch, now, he packs a punch. Don't get me wrong. He packs a punch, man. But I really don't know. Ward, he has that defensive thing going with him, to where he doesn't mind trying to squeak out a decision. You know what I mean? He'll try to outpoint you, man. So maybe Ward or Kovalev. Better Biev is another guy, that can possibly, that dude can crack too, but Next question. Dr. Flex 1 says, Mr. Boxing Today 2. My question is, Badhir Hara wanted to go to boxing in 2012. Let me see here. Wanted to go to boxing in 2012. He was training with Nassim Richardson, but he quit because of legal troubles. He was a kickboxer who wanted to go to boxing, but it didn't happen. He did time in 2013 again for another legal trouble and returned in 2014 fighting his old roots kickboxing just after. Holy shit, this is a long message. Let me just say this, Dr. Flex. I've never heard of the guy. Not the, let me just skim through this. You say that the guy is 6'6", extremely athletic. He says around 245 pounds. I never heard of him. So what I want to do is I want to look that guy up, man, and see what his kickboxing fights look like. See if I can find some footage of Nassim Richardson training him. But I just don't want to lie to you and give an opinion. I've never seen the dude fight, man. So I'm gonna look him up. And you told me in this message that there's highlights and training of him on his Instagram. So I'm gonna go to his Instagram account, man, and I'm gonna see what he got. But this is pretty much me turning this video on and just answering the questions. So I didn't get a chance to prep or look over any of the questions, all right? So I'm gonna look them up, man. Okay, next question. C Pyro says, who are your top 10 greatest heavyweights and how do you rank them? Ooh, that's a good question. Man, right off the top, let me see. Ali, Holmes, Foreman, Holyfield, Jack Johnson, Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Joe Frazier, Joe Louis, and I know some of you are going to might laugh at this one, but I'm going to just stay consistent. I've been saying this for a while, man. Vitaly Klitschko. Not Vladimir, Vitaly. Those would be my 10. Now, I know there's some I'm skipping out, Dempsey, Tunney, and Marciano, and some people may even consider Vladimir because of his long historical run. Floyd Patterson, Sonny Liston. I know there's some guys, I'm not including, but those would be my 10, man. Ali, Holmes, Foreman, Holyfield, Jack Johnson, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Joe Frazier, Joe Louis, and Vitaly Klitschko. That's my 10. All right, next question. C. Gale says, pick a journeyman who could upset Wilder, Klitschko, Joshua, Tyson Fury. Not beat all of them, but one or maybe two of them, one journeyman for each of them. I believe style make fights, and there's a reason for shock results that have nothing to do with a drop in form. As far as today's journeyman, man, like the guys like let me see, like a Jason Gavin or those type of guys, man. I'm not sure if they can beat any of the creme de la creme. If anything, I think these dudes would get upset by some of the, not, like an Eric Molina or, unless you consider like an Eric Molina a journeyman, but a journeyman to me, and there's different levels of journeyman. There's the guys that come in there and literally get hit with a punch or two and lay down within the first round or two, but fringe contender types, like a Molina, I think he could possibly upset somebody. Good right hand, tough. Man, it's hard doing these videos off the top, man. But like an Eric Molina, Carlos Takam, although I had him rated in my top 10 in January, fighters like that, man, I think they could possibly get it done. Malik Scott, somebody like that. Like a fringe contender, but as far as like complete journeyman, I don't think there's good enough journeymans around right now to upset those guys. Maybe they could upset a prospect, but not those guys, in my opinion. John DeWell 2 says, who do you see Povetkin versus Wilder going, assuming Povetkin beats Stavern? Oh, I'm sorry, he says, how do you see Povetkin versus Wilder going, assuming Povetkin beats Stavern? Wilder. I'm going to go Wilder in that one. I think the jab. I think Wilder may implement some of the things Klitschko was doing as far as using his jab. When he used it, Klitschko did a lot of clinching in that fight and putting his weight down on him and all that type of shit, man. But I think Wilder will use the jab and keep Povetkin off enough to get a decision. I think he may try to implement the game plan he used against Stavern. But I think Povetkin will be a little bit more offensive minded than Stavern was, because Stavern was just putting up the high guard, man, and getting hit a lot in that fight. But when he did break out of his shell and try to pressure Deontay, he did have some success. But I'll probably lean towards Wilder in that one. All right. Okay, next question. Okay, this is actually his second question, but Club Fan 30001 says, what's the most exciting division for you? And I think that was just like he's joking around, man. The heavyweight division, man, by far. Rayshawn Hudson, another question. He says, out of all the heavyweights, who is your favorite active fighter? And I pretty much answered that. Wilder, Ortiz, and Joshua. Mr. Doc says, how many years does Luis Ortiz have left, in your opinion? Where will he be able to compete against the highest level of opposition in the heavyweight division? Man, I'm not sure, man. First of all, I don't really know how old he is. I know they list him at like, 36, 37 or something. But you know, when those guys come over from Cuba, man, it's hard to really get a gauge on how old they are. Sometimes they switch, make it seem like they're younger. But at the very least, as far as him being able to beat the Wilders and the Furies and guys like that, man, I believe he has a good 3 or 4 more years in him based on his style. Maybe even more, but just based on the way he fights, he's not a guy that, likes to move around a lot. And if he loses his legs, he'll suffer from it. So, heavyweights, man, they get better with age, and I know a lot of people think I hate on Klitschko because I think he's going to, I think he'll lose to Joshua and Ortiz and a few guys. Still doesn't mean I don't think he can't, beat Lucas Brown and some of those type of guys. I would favor him against Andy Ruiz. I would favor him against Brian Jennings. Well, he already beat Brian Jennings, but if he was to fight Brian Jennings again, Stavern, there are some guys I would favor him against now. Don't get me wrong, but so I think heavyweights, they get better, with age, especially the guys who are not mobile to even begin with, So I don't know, man. I'll say 3 or 4 years, Mr. Doc. Maybe 3 or 4 years, man. V-Town Boxing Fan says, what's the latest on Tayshaun Dong? In 2015, he fought 4 times, but it's 10 months since his last fight. Is he injured? Do you know if he will be fighting soon? I've heard anything, man. I don't know. I haven't been to BoxRec to look at him for a while, but yeah, he hasn't fought since last November, I think. So I'm not sure what's going on with him, man. I'm not sure Golden Boy knows what to do. To me, Golden Boy, man, they have I don't know if it's just they have a hard time promoting their heavyweights, but I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what Tayshaun Dong is up to. I haven't heard from the guy in a while, man. So I'm not sure. V-Town Boxing Fan. Brittany Elmer. Okay. So it says, what's happening, Mr. Boxing? Using my wife's channel to comment. Okay, so this is somebody that comes up in video, but Brittany Elmer is their wife's channel. Okay, but they say, using my wife's channel to comment. I love what you doing for boxing. Keep it up. The good work. But I want to know, how does David Haye just get a title shot without fighting anyone? Like, at least fight Shannon Briggs. This is coming from a boxing fan, super fan from in the ring to outside the ring. All out of fan, I understand you got to get yours and you're only good as your name. But come on, David. Fight someone. Don't go out like that. Shaking my head. How does he get a title shot like that? Politics, man. Politics of the game. And, you know, David Haye, to his credit, he's no scrub. And I'm not saying you said that, but he's no scrub. And he's highly rated. He was rated, I believe, what, in the top 5 or 6 of all the damn sanctioning bodies. He just recently got dropped from the WBC because he didn't sign up for that clean boxing program. But name recognition, his success from yesteryear, you know, besides that Wladimir Klitschko debacle, David Haye has pretty much, you know, been an entertaining fighter, man. The fight with Chisora, and then the shit that happened with Tyson Fury when he pulling out that fight. But his name, politics, popularity, and he still got some left in the tank. A lot of these guys are, you know, in different divisions getting title shots, not doing anything, man. So this is just a thing in boxing. I can see if you're a voluntary defense, but when you start making guys mandatories without those guys being in some type of title eliminator, it just makes you scratch your head, man. And I know Mark Demore was rated, I think, number 10 by the WBA or WBO, one of the damn sanctioning bodies when David Haye fought him. Jarek Jai wasn't rated at all, although he was 29-0. He wasn't rated at all. So I don't know, man. You know, and I think the WBO, you know, they just like the name, and they know David Haye will bring some prestige as far as his name, and you know, he held on to a world title too at cruiserweight. You know, he did his thing at cruiserweight, won a few titles there. Then you know, he beat Nikolai Valuev and he won the title. So David Haye's you know, what he did yesteryear is carrying him over right now. And David Haye's still formidable too, man. So Ray Sean Hudson asked me another question. He says, who do you think would have won a fight in their prime between Ali versus Holyfield? Damn, man, that's a good one. That is a good one. I'm gonna go with Ali in that one. Damn, that's a tough fight though. Fuck. Cause just Ali in his prime is just hard to just fight somebody that can fight so well on the move. You know what I mean? Now, when both these guys are a little bit past their prime, say like when Ali was fighting Ron Lyle, and even when he fought like Foreman, third fight with Frazier, like even around that time versus the Holyfield that fought Tyson, I possibly will roll with Holyfield in that one. But prime for prime, I'm gonna go at Ali. I'm gonna go with Ali in that one. And Holyfield was a little bit lighter in his prime, like when he was fighting at, you know, cruiserweight, when he was unifying there, and then when he beat my man Buster Douglas, and even when he got in there with Riddick Bowe the first time, you know what I mean? He was pretty light on his feet, but and even in the Foreman fight, you know, Foreman kind of stationary target for him to hit though, but I'm going to roll with Ali. I think the quickness, I think he has a better jab, faster hands than Holyfield, but Holyfield would definitely win some rounds. Don't get it twisted. He would definitely win some rounds, man, and make it interesting. Ray Sean Hudson asked me another question. He says, do you think if David Haye was to fight Klitschko again, the fight would the same, okay, he's trying to say, would the fight be the same as the first time? Funny, I just talked about that fight. I'm not sure this time around, man. I'm not sure. Now, I know David Haye's a little bit bulkier. He still moves and shit, you know, moves around, but to me he's a little bit bulkier, so obviously you're gonna be a little bit slower. And with the age also. But Klitschko, man, like I said, since the Jennings fight, looks kind of haggard. But what I will say is Klitschko knows the blueprint to beat David Haye already. But with that said though, just it's kind of a what have you done for me lately thing, and with David Haye, I still don't know what to think about him. You know, I'm still living off the past too with David Haye because Demore and Jarek Jai just laid down. I'm sorry, man. You guys can say what you want. You know, people say, oh, if that was you getting hit, you would have went down. Yeah, but I mean, these dudes laid down though, man. I mean, Jai went face first after getting jabbed. You know what I mean? He was making it seem like fucking David Haye had the jab with Sonny Liston, Lennox Lewis or something, man. But I think it'd be interesting. I think it's 50-50. That first fight, in my opinion, I thought that was a 65-35. People forget, man, that although Klitschko was the betting favorite, that's when, I used to converse with a lot of fans and people were talking about that David Haye's too fast. That he might be too fast for Klitschko, the footwork, the unorthodox punching style with the power. You know what I mean? And people thought he had a chance in that fight. That's why, I couldn't believe he was moving around so much without trying to fight on the move. He was just like trying to stay away from Wladimir, man. But maybe he'll be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe he can land on Wladimir. I think it's 50-50. Just put it like that. I think the first fight was more 70 or 65-35, 70-30 Klitschko. I think this more is 50-50. All right, that's all the questions, man. Shout out to all you guys that came to the comment section, left me some questions, man. DR Flex 1, like I said, I'm going to get back to you, man. I'm going to look up this guy. What's his guy's name again? Badr Hari. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm going to look him up, man. You say he's 6'6", 250 pounds, and he worked with Nassim Richardson, and he was a former kickboxing champion, man. So a lot of guys revert from kickboxing to boxing, man. It's nothing new. Even like shit, the guys today. You know what I mean? Dillian White and Tyrone Spong and I believe Israel Gano did some kickboxing. I believe he did. And there's a few other guys. Shit, Jarrell Miller. Go on and on, man. But this is a very long video. So yeah, man, I'll probably do this once a month. You know what I mean? Get some questions out there, man. You guys send me some questions and I'll answer them live, man. So I appreciate it, man. I'm out.